Hey, thanks for joining. This is Hal Fader. I'm with Murphy Business and Financial, and I'm a business broker. And I wanted to take a few minutes to just introduce myself via video so that you get an opportunity to learn a little bit about my background and some of the process steps that I deploy in order to represent your interest in the marketplace. And I say that very seriously because representing your interest is an undertaking that I don't take lightly. In fact, it has to be a partnership. And I'll get into that in just a little bit more. But my background, first off, is 35 years of deal making, mostly in the corporate setting with Ford Motor Company. I got involved in a lot of buy-sell work in the dealership world, one dealership moving to a new buyer. I also got into lots of negotiations with governments for manufacturing incentives, unions. I actually sold a couple 100,000 vehicles to Hertz one afternoon. But I've always been fascinated at the art of the deal and what I'll call the intersection of interest between a buyer and a seller. Because at the end of the day, I think a broker's role is to find that intersection and to maximize that intersection and be the catalyst for growing the intersection of interest. Because both buyer and seller have to win. And if you can develop a win-win proposition, then I think you have a deal. And if you can't, then there likely isn't a deal. So maximizing that intersection of interest is how I look at brokering. And I have a process that I deploy to be able to get to that point, okay? And it starts with developing a partnership, as I said earlier, with my sellers and getting alignment around their goals, understanding their goals in a confidential, no-cost consultation where we learn about the business and the outcome for the sale and why we're doing the sale, what we want to see happen in the sale, and then going off doing some work around the valuation. Why do I do that early? Well, I want to take a snapshot of the business so that I can bring back to the seller the likely selling price of the business. And if there's an alignment there, then we'll find out very quickly whether we can work together. And if we do, then we'll go forward and execute a confidential process where we protect the identity of the business until we get a buyer close enough to the business to warrant going further. Okay, so we do the valuation, there's an alignment session, and then I'll go off and do a marketing plan, highlight the value of the business in professional materials, develop a campaign to get the business in front of prospects, and start the process. And you might ask yourself, how do you sell a business without telling someone about the business? Well, we do that through a teaser ad where we don't disclose the name and the location. We put the teaser ad out, and then the prospect has to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, submit a financial statement, and also pass an interview so that I can determine whether the prospect is a good fit for the business. Again, back to those seller goals and making sure that we check off all the boxes that are important to the seller. So once the prospect passes that test, then I do send out a lengthy, detailed prospectus highlighting everything about the business, the financials, the market demographics, the team, the facility, every aspect about the business. And I also include a funding package available to the buyer. So I'll pre-qualify the business and put that in my materials as well. Because I think my job is not only to sell the business, but to actually help the buyer buy the business. And so that financial package is an important ingredient to selling the business. After that, I'll work very closely with the buyer and the seller in due diligence, and then effect a successful close and business handover between buyer and seller. So that's the high-level process. There's a lot of details that go into each of those steps. But I love it. I enjoy it. And I really don't take lightly the responsibilities that I have when representing someone's interest who decides to sell a business. I mean, let's face it, it's more than a financial decision. I mean, it's many times a lifestyle choice that impacts not only the business, but the family, the employees, and the customers. And so it's really important, and I take it serious, and work really closely to safeguard the business while I market it. Okay, so for many years I enjoyed helping business owners grow the business, and now I've aged and gotten older and have some experiences, and now I'm helping dealers and business owners sell their businesses. I call it landing the plane. So the business owner knows how to fly the plane really well, knows where all the airports are, knows how to navigate through storms. But sometimes they need help landing the plane confidentially, profitably, on a prescribed timeline, and with minimum stress, because it can be a challenging, lengthy process. So I would love to work with you if you're considering selling. If you're only just in the planning stages and want to understand the process, I'd love to chat with you. Please give me a call. Again, Hal Fader. My phone number is 248-885-7804. And my email is h.fader, F-E-D-E-R, @murphybusiness.com. Thanks for joining. I look forward to catching you up on another video, or potentially on the phone. Take care. Thanks for joining.